What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian, and this is Blueprinting with Theo and Harris. It's a new series, a podcast where we invite watch geeks, entrepreneurs, creators, people willing to retrace their blueprint, where they are, what got them there, and where the hell they're going. We won't be throwing softballs, and we're not letting people just promote their shit, so you're welcome. You ready? All right, Will, how should I pronounce your last name?
It's Monaghan.
That's simple? You have like a G in it.
Oh, look, the G throws everyone off. Let's not worry about it.
The J throws everything off. That's funny, man. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, how you doing, everyone? I'm Will Monaghan from TalkWatch. I'm one of the founders at TalkWatch, myself and Max. We are a Irish brand. We just recently launched last July, and we're about to launch our second watch on March 6th. So I guess that's why I'm having a quick chat with Christian here. So yeah, all the way from little old Ireland.
Yeah, no, Will shot me an email a couple of weeks ago. We met up in New Jersey, and I loved what we talked about. I loved our conversation about his journey so far. So I think it was a great shove or a little push to make the Theo and Harris team start this new medium. We couldn't have Will on a video because of timing and all those things, but to invent this new medium, a podcast, where we can reach people and discuss watches and anything all over the world is tremendous. So I'm super excited to be doing this, man. So let's talk about you. Where are you from? I guess both geographically, and in every other way.
Yeah, I'm from a little place called Trim, which is just outside Dublin in Ireland. So all the way across the pond. It doesn't feel that far right now, but yeah, I'm from over here. I'm 38, so I'm getting on in my world, but I have a lot of plans, and that's the reason we set up TalkWatch.
What kind of background do you have? I know you're Irish, but I mean, it's not just where you come from, geographically. Like, where do you come from? What kind of people do you come from?
Yeah, well, it was just a normal household that I grew up on. My dad was a Garda, so a cop, all his life, and my mum worked in a doctor's surgery as an assistant. So just quite a normal upbringing. I went to university. I studied languages and marketing, and went into the retail space and into sales thereafter for the best part of 10, 15 years. Worked in different places around the world until I think it was 2016 when I decided enough was enough. I want to kind of chase my dreams before it's too late, before I got too many commitments that I can't take any risks. And that's why I started looking at TalkWatch, and yeah, we started that last year. So I'm just like everyone else, I guess. Nothing overly special, just a normal.
I couldn't disagree more. What was the enough is enough moment? It's stuff like that, really being kind of, I guess, introspective and thinking okay, enough is enough is accumulation of things. But when did you realize that? Yeah,
well, I guess there was no one moment as such, but I've always wanted to set up a business, to go out on my own, to chase, the stuff I dream about every single day. And I was never sure why I just didn't do it. And then one day I kind of thought to myself, wow, I'm pushing on. I'm looking to start a family in the next couple of years. If I don't do it now, there's too much to risk. And I think that's when I kind of said to myself, wow, I'm in trouble here. I need to just take the leap and go for it. I was stuck in a great corporate job, working for someone else, making someone else loads and loads of money. And I kind of went to myself, well, why don't I put the same energy and passion into something I actually believe in, and just go for it. Look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll be left with no questions then. I'll have done it and I can move on. But, so far so good. It's not all roses and rainbows. It's a challenge. But look, it's a whole lot of fun.
What was this your first entrepreneurship journey or no?
Yeah, well, I guess it's the first one that kind of took off.
What was before this then? What didn't take off?
Well, so I spent 3 years actually building up to opening a restaurant. So I spent a lot of time, so I was basically still working away as I do, and in the background building a business plan and a project to launch. And I had everything ready to go at a premises in Dublin, and I was going to launch a burger and wing joint. It's basically a farm to fork kind of thing. Now, as a startup, it's quite difficult to get going, especially when you don't have the experience, you don't have the accounts, you don't have 3 years of books that proves you can do this. So unfortunately, the landlord pulled out. She noticed a lucrative opportunity.
She thought you were too risky. She thought you were too risky.
No, she saw the boom is back to some degree in Ireland, and she saw the opportunity to sell the building that the restaurant was in, and she actually sold it for quite a large amount of money, and it took away any issues with having to deal with tenants and anything like that. So it was just unlucky, I guess. It wasn't a business that didn't get off the ground. It was just a business that...
So you never actually opened?
Never got to open it.
So, but how many months did you put into the work and developing the business plan and everything?
Oh, I put in 3 years of work and about 5 years of dreaming before that. Like, look, I wanted to do many other things.
Why didn't you go find a different piece of real estate? Ireland's pretty big.
Ireland is pretty big, but as I say, we're kind of back to a boom in Ireland, and although I had quite a substantial budget at the time, I'd be bottom of the list in terms of applications because I was a pure startup. Like, I wasn't with another person or a chef that had 10 years experience. I was a pure startup, so I was high risk. And when there's so many other options out there for landlords, they never got down to my proposal because there was always something better and more money on the table, and like they were asking for insane amounts of key money to get in the door, and with the lucrative market, it just blew my budget out of the way. It's something I'll get back to in the future, but at the moment, it wasn't something I could afford, and I didn't want to partner too much with someone else and sell away half my concept. Just to get in the door, I decided to kind of reinvent what I was doing and look at where else what other passion I can follow.
And how long was it between the restaurant and then Talk?
Yeah, so the restaurant was actually February. So February 2016 was when it all fell apart, and it was quite a few weeks of moaning and feeling really sorry for myself, and look, just struggling with the fact that a 3-year dream or a lifelong dream had just gone down the drain, and through no fault of my own. But look, that's the way it is. You can't control everything, and the one thing I couldn't control was what the landlord was going to do, and therefore the dream went down the drain. But I couldn't sit and go back, I couldn't continue my day-to-day job and stick at it with the same passion, and I felt I was struggling to put in, the proper hours or whatever. So I kind of thought to myself, I need to do something else, and 3 months later I came up with Talk, and, through talking with Max, we decided to just go for it and do it. So, and then we started planning on that.
That's interesting. I mean, so it's not, you didn't just segue like mediums, right? Like you were doing, you wanted to do food, and then you went into watches. You didn't just segue, what you were selling, but the entire style of business, right? You shifted from something that relied on a landlord, something that relied on, huge other variables you had no control over, and then went into an internet business in which, what does a website cost? Realistically, I mean, to host a website costs basically nothing, right? So that must have been obviously a very attractive or realistic beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess when we looked at, when you kind of compare the restaurant business and, yes, effectively an online business, could be absolutely any product. You kind of compare them both, and you look at one that requires an insane amount of investment. And I had investors, like people that were going to back me with the restaurant, and obviously I lost them, and I gave them back their funding when it didn't go ahead. But then I looked at what I'd left, and I kind of went, well, what can I do with this? How much does it really cost to launch something that I like to do and to do it properly? So it wasn't a ginormous amount of investment, but it's still a substantial amount of money. It was still a lot of my life savings. It's high risk, but look, if you calculate correctly and you kind of apply the right logic and you make sure you don't cut any corners, and obviously with the right research, you can deliver something very good and very effective that the market actually wants. So,
but even then, still high risk. I mean, there are so many watchmakers out there that are like at the top of their game, and they make some of the best product in the world, and yet still, I mean, it's very difficult. You got a brand like Laurent Ferrier, who's actually the man behind Laurent Ferrier. His name Laurent Ferrier. I believe he was a race car driver for quite some time, but he ended up working as a watchmaker, I believe at Patek Philippe. Then went on to go start his own company. I mean, the guy's got serious, like lineage and heritage in the watch world, and makes some of the most wonderful watches in the world. But still, they have big troubles, right? So I don't think that success in the watch retail business is just predicated upon or a product of just the quality. I think you definitely need to have great quality. Like when I was looking at your watches, I had a lot to say about it. But it is a lot more than that.
No, absolutely.
And is that like nerve wracking? It's got to be.
Yeah, it is. And look, and that's the risk, right? Because, that's the risk, but that's also the pitfall. If you think that you're just going to create a super product, then boom, you're done, and it's easy street. You're absolutely wrong. Getting the business off the ground, don't get me wrong, is extremely hard. Getting the product out there is extremely hard. Like the correct product out there that's finished in the right way, but that's just where the difficulty begins. And you're absolutely right. You could have the name, you could have the ability, you could have the experience and the lineage, as you said, but that means absolutely nothing unless you can get your product into the right hands, in front of the right people at the right time and for the right price. And that is a whole lot of juggling to get right. And, it's not easy. And we're no way near there. And absolutely not. And we're no way, we're no illusions that we are the best at what we do or anything like that. But, we've got a product we're proud of. We've ticked all the boxes. But now is the hard bit of getting it out to the market in front of people, and even still that doesn't guarantee success.
How have your friends and family been as far as I don't know, just I imagine it's a little bit annoying hearing about it all the time. I know that people who are around me, I'm sure, are done hearing about Theo and Harris.
Absolutely.
What has that been like?
Well, look, my family were great. When I told them what I was doing initially, they were kind of like, what? Are you mad? So they couldn't get it. They couldn't grasp why I was risking so much for something that they
not just the company itself, but the fact that you were leaving work. I mean, this is it. You're going no hedge on this imaginary thing.
That's absolutely imaginary. They thought I lost it. They thought I dreamt it up one night, and I was just doing it.
One thing is to say you're going to do something. One thing is to give a great idea, and then one thing, doing it, whole other world. But then overcoming not just the natural adversity of being in the business, because there's adversity every single day. But do you think that you were hindered or fueled by your crazy stuff?
Well, the fact that certain people doubted the possibility of even hitting our target in the 30 days definitely fueled me. There was a friend of mine that I worked with day in, day out, and I was still at this point I was still working in my job at the time in sales, and he was running a business on the side at the time as well. And I told him, look, we need to sell X amount of units in 30 days to hit our target. And the morning of the launch, he goes, look, Will, he goes, I really like what you're doing. I love the watch. I think it's definitely got a future, but there's no way you're going to sell that amount of watches in 30 days. What was the amount? Many, to be honest. Well, look, it was 115 watches, or 112 actually watches, right? And to him, it was ludicrous. How am I going to do it?
But what's the benefit though? What's the benefit of pulling you aside and telling you that? You know what I mean? It's too late already. I've already risked everything. Why at this point? You know what I mean?
Well, it was too late. Absolutely.
Not to criticize your friend, but what's the point?
Yeah, there was a bit of, I don't know. And it really threw me in it.
I mean, it's got to be a little bit of jealousy too.
Well, there must have been, but it really threw me that day, that morning. And I was only 2 hours away from launching. I was like, oh, here we go. We made a big mistake. We've made a big mistake.
It's too late. It's over. You know what I mean? Thanks for the real, love and support last minute,
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, I was pale as a ghost going upstairs to press the go button on Kickstarter. But look, 24 hours later, he came up to me and he goes, man, that just blown my mind, because we hit our target in 24 hours. And he supported us, he bought one in the 24 hours as well, but he couldn't believe it. And that fueled me even more, because look, lots of people doubt it and they don't understand the passion that goes behind it and the hours work and all the other challenges you have, and they didn't get it. So it was great to be able to kind of not prove them wrong, but just show them that, look, there's more out there. I guess you can, if you do it right, you can actually do something really special. So
yeah, it's really interesting. What a simple way to say that, but I don't think I've ever said that before. There's more out there. I think that a lot of the people that I come in contact with on a daily basis, and good friends or family or acquaintances, barely strangers, whatever, when they hear about what I'm super interested in entrepreneurship, Theo and Harris, whatever it may be. I just love hearing about other people's entrepreneurship endeavors, right? Because the improbable, or no, not the impossible, but the improbable, honestly happens all the time, like all around us. You know what I mean? We don't realize it, but people that we just don't ask questions. You know what I mean? Like, insane shit happens all the time. I was at a conference this weekend, and I was in a room, with dozens of people, with hundreds of people, and dozens of them, we're living proof that if you work hard and work smart, it's actually quite likely that it's going to work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And no, you may not become rich. It's not the point necessarily.
No.
But you you expanded the world as you knew it. Do you know what I mean? It's no longer just, I'm going to go, be an accountant. And once again, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. It's no judgment. But for people out there that are dissatisfied with stuff like that, I think it's super important. They talk to people like you that know, hey, actually, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You can, and that's cool, but don't sit here and give me that I have to bullshit, because it's just not true.
Absolutely. In sales, it's a difficult one, and in all the other areas I've worked in, how many people wake up every morning and going, yes, I love this. I'm going to go and have a great day at work. I'd say, I don't know, 15%. Maybe. I'd say that's even lucky. So now, look, it's not easy. I work long hours, but it actually doesn't feel like it. I've worked more now than I've ever worked. But then,
you're working right now.
I'm working right now, and I don't even feel it. I was working last night till 11 p.m. I woke up really early this morning, but not one point does it actually feel like a burden. Yes, it's stressful. It's a challenge, but it's not wiping me, and it's actually energizing me. So it's a whole different mindset, and it's giving.
You ever feel like what else would I even be doing? Don't get me wrong. There are some times where I want to sit on the couch and watch The Office. It happens. There's no doubt. But you and I we work a ton of hours. Wake up early, go to sleep late, and really kind of just working when other people would just say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That's inappropriate to work at that time." Whether that be 5:30 in the morning, whether that be 1 in the morning. That's just inappropriate. And I think it would be inappropriate, if we genuinely didn't like it, or we genuinely weren't happy, and that's different. But I don't know. I just finished my cup of coffee. I'm kind of awake. It's 11:15 or 12:30. I guess I'm just gonna answer some emails and do some work. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I think that's such a fucking luxury, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, it's the confinement aspects that people find themselves in with their daily job. So they're confined to the structure that their job is imposing on them. Right. 8 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever it is. And then anything after that just becomes tedious and painful. And because they're not getting maybe the satisfaction out of their 9 to 5 that they should be. But look, I like getting up now, and it's difficult, it's hard, but it's something interesting, and it's something I definitely bore a lot of people talking about. But hey, thank God you mightn't be one of them. But look, I think a lot of people love what they do with their own jobs, and that's great. And there's plenty of callings out there, and plenty of dreamers that chase their dreams, and I think at the moment I'm lucky enough to be one of them.
What about your partner?
Yeah, Max. Max is my partner. I worked with Max in a previous job. We kind of we share the same passions. He was one of the backers that when I was trying to set up the restaurant, and we've always had great conversations and debates about what's good, what's bad, what makes something a good product. We have the same life goals. You know, we don't mind working hard, but we also want to make sure we get the most out of what we're doing and actually enjoy it.
Is he active in talk, or is he just like a financial backer?
No, Max is very active in talk. Max still has a day-to-day job, unfortunately, because we just don't have the level of funding to support two of us. So Max works most evenings, actually, and weekends on talk stuff, and he might fit in an hour or two during the day if he's lucky on some talk stuff. So he puts in the hours, and in some ways he might have
works early, works late, and occasionally can squeeze it in during lunch. I get it.
Yeah, and like that's maybe even tougher than what I'm doing, because he still has the daily grind that is slowly sucking the life out of him, and it's not easy, but he understands the sacrifice that he has to make, and likewise I have to make it work. And basically he complements what I do, and like, you know, where I fall down, he can pick me up, I guess, and he has the abilities that I don't have in some of the areas. And I guess if we didn't bounce the ideas off each other, God knows what I'd produce on my own or what he'd produce on his own.
Were you nervous taking a partner? I mean, were you did you alone found the company and then take him on as a partner, first of all?
No, my previous company or business was just me, but, you know, we had spoken about certain
This was
types
both of you
business.
from day one?
This was me and Max, yeah. 50-50 from day one.
Did you ever consider doing a watch company alone, or was it just talking just with Max?
Yeah, I kind of, when the concept came up, I was like, this would be pretty cool, and, you know, we discussed it, and then I was kind of thinking, well, there's no way I can do this on my own. And like, what an isolated world it would be, like, if I wasn't able to share this with someone with equal passion to me, and it'd be quite lonely if I was sitting at my desk every
Exactly
day.
right, man. That's the word I was going to use. I mean, there's a loneliness factor, you know. If you're the single owner, the single partner, I mean, there's a loneliness factor that people, like, I think they forget about.
Yeah.
And that loneliness can drive you to do some real bad shit. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I'm the single owner of Theo and Harris. I happen to have an amazing relationship with both of the two kind of co-founders of Theo and Harris, Anna, our editor, and Aaron, our webmaster. So I'm very lucky that, you know, I can, you know, call up and vent to and be vented to.
Yes.
So, you know, I can't complain as much as other people can, but still, you know, when the buck stops with you, you know, when you're the you know, quote unquote, you're the number one.
Yeah.
No matter how many people you can, you know, run and talk to, it's fucking lonely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And,
You know.
you know, they don't, I guess, it's all, when the pressure's all on your shoulders, when you have to make those final decisions, that's when you realize you're kind of on your own. And like in the restaurant game, I would have been on my own. Granted, I would have had people with vested interests, silent partners and stuff like that, but I would have to make every single day-to-day decision and question my own sanity every single day. But with Max, we bounce our ideas off each other and we disagree on a lot, but we also agree on a lot as well, and get to a point.
How do you resolve the disagreements? How do you do that?
I turn off my chat app on my phone and
That's fucking great.
and I just ignore it and cool down for the night. But look, we disagree over absolute stupid things, like, and you know, because we're working remotely to each other, so you know, a lot of the time it's over like a WhatsApp or a Telegram what we use, so there's a lot misinterpreted.
And is he close to you? Like, do you guys actually see each other regularly?
Yeah, no, we see each other quite regularly. Like, we make sure to have a meeting every single week, if not more.
Okay.
And like, as I said, we talk daily, and you know, we do two separate things. He has his own stuff to do, I have my own stuff to do. We have lots of collaboration tools that we use. But absolutely, we sit down every week for a few hours and kind of iron out, you know, the details and apologize to each other and hug each other.
The apology is king.
And say we'll never do it again. But look,
yeah, it's funny. I think that if you're an entrepreneur, this is not a very, you know, educated opinion. This is just my lay impression. Just talking to entrepreneurs and talking to people who are not. Entrepreneurs know how to apologize, dude, because we eat shit like all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wrong all the time, and I have to like take responsibility for it. No one else is going to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So when you have to admit you're wrong all the time, apologizing is so easy. So people like hate getting into arguments with me because I just apologize in like 3 seconds. Like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You know, they're like, no, that's not enough satisfaction. I'm like, well, then go get it somewhere else because I'm already sorry. You know what I mean? And that's such an entrepreneur trait, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, but yeah, there's nothing better than beating someone up for a while. But when you take that away, they resent it. All right.
Oh yeah. So okay, so let's talk about the Talk 19, and let's talk about the new one, the Ulysses.
Yeah, well, the Talk 19 was our baby. I guess it was our first watch. It was, it was kind of inspired by Kano. We kind of talked about this when we met. So like, I originally came across Kano back in, I think it was 2015. And I always loved that watch, but the company itself was destroyed in the war. And obviously it has gone on to inspire other watches since. And look, we knew that when we were doing it, but namely
some some Stoas were created at the same time that look a lot like Talk 19. Some Nomos watches, right?
Yes, absolutely. And look, we're a different league to these boys, and we don't dispute that, and we have nowhere near the experience they do, but we wanted to add a different layer to the watch that I guess they didn't in a way, and that's what we brought with our dial colors. And obviously it's quite a bold size. It's 44 millimeters, so it's it's a big watch. It's a statement piece, and we were aiming for, look, we're all individuals and we all have our own voices, and setting up Talk was about me expressing my individuality and where I wanted to take my life. And that's what the watch is about. It's about, look, yeah, I'm mad enough to wear a red watch with my t-shirt, whatever. So it's about just expressing that.
I'm also mad enough to quit my job and start a company that no one gives a shit about yet.
Exactly.
Like, see, that to me, it's like, it's not just the color, man. It's like, it's first of all, I like your watches, and we'll get more into that. You already know that. I wouldn't have had you on here if I didn't like your watches. But it's just when I see it, I just can't stop just thinking about, as a consumer, that would just interest me so much. The fact that I am not, I don't always need to not to sound callous. I don't always need to give like a Costa Rican kid a pair of shoes, like when I'm buying something, right? With Tom's or something. And that's great. Props to them. But there are, sometimes more like simpler, obviously a little bit less noble, I guess, in a globalist kind of way, but there are simpler ways to support people, and I think that supporting Talk, and it's not that it's charity by any means. You buy something because you like it, but there is also, just for me, tremendous narrative in you're just in your story, and how this watch and the new watch, the Ulysses, is the next generation, of you saying, fuck it. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and let's just do it.
Yeah. And actually, I really appreciate what you just said there, because look, we're not reinventing the wheel here or anything, and we're not reforesting the rainforest, and we'd love to be in a position to support charities and all that kind of stuff going forward. We do stuff locally here, but look, we're a startup, we're a small business, we're two guys chasing our dreams, and look, we don't want to stop, we don't want to stop until the game is up. And at this point, we're right at the start, and we're enjoying it. And if our story can help inspire other people to take a little bit of a risk out there and do what they really want to do, well, then I'll support other people that are doing that.
Super well said.
At the end of the day, without support, we're going to get nowhere, and we'll all be stuck in this globalized world with all the massive brands surrounding us and eating us up. And look,
100%.
It's a crazy, everything's overcomplicated at the moment out there. There's too much clutter. There's too much, technologies coming on the market. And, our product is about stepping back. It's about the simpler and finer things in life, enjoying a quiet beer on a Friday night. Like, there's nothing more simpler than that. Winding your watch, yeah. And that's something that's important to us, like the personal connection I get every single day when I wind my watch. Now the thing I have to do is choose which watch to wear, and that's becoming increasingly problematic with the introduction of the Ulysses. but like the connection you get.
So tell me now, why the Ulysses? Why did you develop this from where you came, like from the Talk 19? How did the Ulysses come?
Yes, absolutely. So the Talk 19, right, was a success in its own right. It's a big watch. It's a statement piece. But the Ulysses, we got a lot of feedback. You know, a lot of ladies actually bought our Talk 19 despite its large size, and you know, even a lot of men have said it's just too big for them. So we wanted a more inclusive offering, and that's what the Ulysses is. There's essentially two case sizes. There's 36mm and a 40mm, and we've got two mechanical movements and actually a Miyota quartz movement. So we have a hand wound movement and an automatic, and then we've a Miyota quartz movement. So we can price it a little bit more fairly to, I guess, the people who just don't have a lot of disposable income.
And where's the retail on the automatic?
So the automatic's going to retail for, what is it, about $450 after our campaign. So $450. So it's, you know, it's sub 500. So it's you know, getting an automatic for that with the materials that we use is pretty damn good. So we're delighted with that, and then obviously the hand wind is going to be close enough to that, slightly under, and then the Miyota quartz is going to retail for about $250, $270. So it just means that we can target different markets and hopefully broaden our audience, because you know, a lot of people have spoken about our watches, friends, family, and you know, even further afield have asked for a little bit more, and to have a more inclusive offering. So that's what we're aiming at with it.
Talk to me about, I know when we met, we were talking about some of your movements. Now, at least some of your movements, some of your mechanical movements, they're Chinese, right? They're seagulls?
They're seagulls, yeah.
So what, the Talk 19 movement, the automatic, and the manual on the Ulysses, they're all seagulls.
Yeah, so I guess we fell in love with the sub dial on our watch, and we wanted to be able to offer an affordable watch that, you know, has a sub dial feature that also is mechanical. So when we kind of analysed the market, we realised that we only had a few options: either go hell for leather and head into the Swiss market and probably price ourselves out of it, especially when you're asking people to take a risk on a new company, or we'd focus on something a little bit more affordable. So when we looked at Seagull, you know, we realised they're, you know, for what they are, they're a robust movement. Seagull are probably the largest manufacturer of mechanical movements in the world. So, you know, they manufacture a lot of movements. Now, Chinese brand isn't for everyone, but I guess every single person out there is carrying something Chinese around them, from the iPhone to their Ray-Bans.
Yeah, but don't you feel like, you know, I try to, how do I put this? When I try to, you know, look at particularly, you know, affordable things, I think it's important to strip of preconceptions, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I have no problem with someone that doesn't want to spend $9,000 on a Seiko, because I do get it. Brand matters at a certain point.
Yeah.
I get it. Even if that Seiko, that $9,000 Seiko, really should be worth $14,000, I understand if someone says, you know what, I'd rather have a Rolex.
Yeah.
But when you're talking sub 500, frankly, when you're talking sub 1,000, 1,500, I think that it is important to push some of those preconceived notions aside. Now, if the preconceived notion or the faulty notion, you know, is in fact true, if people think that Chinese means cheap and it does in fact mean cheap, then your watches suck and fuck you.
Yeah.
But if that's not true, then that's up to you to make that clear. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the big question is then, you know, what is your error rate? What percentage of the watches that you ship out have an issue upon arrival, you know, or soon thereafter?
Our error rate at the moment is about 4.7%.
Which is pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah, pretty good. Like, look, our watches were delivered in November, December timeframe. So at this point, we should know where we're sitting at. So I don't expect that to change drastically. It's definitely not going to go up more than, I'd say, 6%. So like, we're very bloody happy with that. But I guess what we did, like, our attention to detail, we're a little bit over the top when it comes to it. And, you know, we spent a week with the manufacturer. Like,
it could be, you inspect before shipment, right? You inspect and regulate and all that stuff?
Absolutely. So we spent a week over there with the manufacturer, and, you know, we put our hands on every single watch and we wound every watch. We had a look at it all before we were happy enough to ship. And, you know, at that point we had sent a few back. to get, fixed, get regulated, whatever that was wrong with them.
And how were they? Were they cool with that, or did they get pissed off?
Oh, absolutely. No, they knew that's exactly what we were coming over there to do. And they were happy with it. And it was one of the terms I set out from the very offset is this is what we're going to do. So they were cool with it. They didn't realize how strict we were going to be. But look, at the end of the day, not one of those watches left unless we are happy.
Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, I feel like, and once again, I'm not in the manufacturing business, so this is kind of just my, lay impression here. But if like you said before, and I've heard this before, so I know it's true, these manufacturers are obviously not really interested in making your watch in low quantities, right? They are investing their resources and their time in developing a relationship with you on the prospect that one day you will have a big company that orders a lot from them, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's very important that the quality control is tight. Otherwise, if your quality control is not tight, and they make more short-term money because you're not sending stuff back, that only screws them in the long run. So I'm not saying your manufacturer's bad people. They could be wonderful people that are super happy with it. But if they weren't, and I'm sure many people out there, many manufacturers, I'm sure they're penny wise, dollar foolish. People are. That's nature. Right? It's just counterintuitive.
Oh, look, we were very nervous flying over, because this was our baby. This is all our work. We were expecting. We didn't know what to expect. Let's be honest. We knew we'd done our checks. We looked into them. We looked at as many reviews as we could of them. But you just don't know until you get your boots on the ground. Dealing with somewhere the far side of the world and spending tens of thousands with them.
And really, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if they take your deposit and then deliver a crap product?
Nothing. You're done.
You're just screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are you going to sue them in China? You know what I mean? Like, that ain't going to fly.
Yeah. I know, man. We needed them there on the ground.
What, are you going to fight them? I saw you. You're a tall, thin Irish guy. I know you're a little scrappy, I bet, but you're not going to fight, 300 Chinese, workers, watchmakers.
No, I wouldn't stand a chance. First, I wouldn't even have a clue what they're saying to me. They could be asking me for a hug and not trying to kill me. So, but look, it's a big risk, and in an ideal world, we'd be manufacturing amazing watches out of Switzerland and everyone would be ready to buy them. But look, that's not the reality of the marketplace, and that's not the reality of small business. And if that was the way, nobody would ever go into business. Nobody would ever take a chance. So, we're lucky, and let's hope, we can continue with this look and increase what we're doing this time.
And the truth is, just to put things in perspective, there are so many critics out there, including H. Moser, that have made it very clear that the made in Switzerland or the Swiss made stamp is pretty largely a crock of shit anyway. So, you're basically paying for someone else to get rich, really deliver a marginally better, if not, it may be even no better product. One question I wanted to ask you, so you have a 4.7% error rate, which is probably one of the most important statistics for a buyer. What are you doing with the 4.7% of people that do encounter a problem?
Oh, we send them a new watch straight away. So what we do is we basically take... So the Top 19, right, has limited edition numbering on the back. So we take the watch back off them, we change the back case and put it on a new watch and ship it out to them straight away.
That's great. So you get to keep their number.
Oh yeah, they get to keep the number. Look, and they get we replace the watch straight away. Look, we're not messing around. We don't want to have pissed off people, shouting and screaming on the phone, writing bad reviews.
Dude, one bad review and you're in trouble. It's how business is. I'm terrified of bad reviews.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, it's very hard because there have been plenty of times in which a client was 145% in the wrong. They're being abusive. They're taking advantage of their, the potential to write a review. And I never allow my company or myself to be held hostage, like I'm sure you wouldn't allow.
No.
But you know that I think that you and I are in the same way in that we do the right thing, not because we're afraid of a bad review, but because we want to do the right thing. That's number one. But there are times in which you have to go even not just above and beyond, but above and way beyond, just because the importance of every review on the internet, man. It's so easy to write a review.
Yeah. Oh no, it's so easy, and the trolls are out there, and just people thrive on dishing it out, and hurting people. And look, we get it, but look, if someone gets a bad product, if it happens, we will happily resolve that. We welcome the problem so that we can resolve it. Like at the end of the day, when I buy something and I put my hard-earned bucks into something, I want it, and I want to make sure it's bang on. I don't just throw money away. So I want, like, you know, so I look, at the end of the day, we've got some reviews up on our website. They're not bad. We're happy with them. We'd love a bunch more. But
well, that's something that I have in my notes here. I was looking at your website and I was looking at the Talk 19, and there are 2 reviews for at least the cream dial one. That's terrible, and we both know it. How many Talk 19s have you sold?
We've sold 463, I think.
You sold 463 and you've only gotten 2 reviews?
No, sorry, 463 total watches. So there's reviews under each section. So
I know, but you got to have more reviews at Talk 19. I know it's a good watch. I held it.
No, I know, but look, we've asked people to put up reviews, and you know we don't want to badger them to do it either. But we'll
I know,
them again with our next
I get
newsletter.
that.
But like, I tell you what, like, I'm lazy, you know, when you have to register a warranty.
I'm lazy, says the guy who admits to working how many hours a week, and you're not lazy. That's a lot of shit. No way. So, like, I don't buy it for a second.
I bought a new camera the day before I met you, right? So I needed a good camera to take pictures with, and you know, do you think I'm going to register a warranty? Do you think I'm going to go online and clickety-click and do it? And here's me asking and begging people, look, stick up the review, whatever it is, stick it up, when I won't even register a warranty for my camera, you know.
I know, it's so funny, right? I do the same thing. I send out to every teenage client like 3 months after. I think 3 months is a really good time. Like, you get a real idea if you like the product or not. And the next week is kind of tough, but 3 months after, I think I get an honest review. And it's funny. I send out real nice personal emails, literally to every person, like with specific information about their order, so they know this is not just a generic email. And I cross my fingers and I hope for a response. And I'm super proud that we do get a lot, but it's funny because even though I know how much my business relies on it, I'll review other small businesses, but I'll never write a review when I get those emails from Amazon or anything like that. Even though realistically, so many of those people that are asking for reviews on Amazon, like, they really could use them. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone that sells shit on Amazon is you know, swimming in money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But no, you know, certain things I'm lazy and other things I will be over the top anal about. But I guess that's just me. But like, you know, when I'm passionate about it, I'm gonna make damn sure that it's done right. But yeah, look, if anyone's listening who's got a Top 19, stick that bloody review up there.
Okay, so remind me again, from right now, from today, it's been almost 500 watches, and how long have you been in business? From the first day you said this is Talk. How long has it been till now?
Oh, well, I guess from the day of concept, it's a year and 5.5 months.
So a year and 5.5 months and 500 watches in.
Yeah.
Are you proud of where you are right now?
Yeah, we're proud of where we are considering the challenges we've had. So absolutely, we'd love to be 1,000 watches in. But you know, our first watch went on sale July 2017, and we're 464 in now. And hopefully within another 40 days we'll be, I don't know, 1,000 in or 1,500.
Because this is the launch of the Ulysses.
This is the launch of the Ulysses, and look, we've a massive number in mind of what we want to hit, so that we know we can sustain a business for another 12 months without having that fear, that horrible feeling that, God, we got to do something drastic here to keep the business going. You know, we want to be able to get our watches out there and start planning for the next level, the next stage.
The next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we got some good plans. You know, we've ideas of where we want to take the product, but it's about the Ulysses, and it's about getting that off to the start.
And it's a super cool watch. Like I said, I think you brought at least one Ulysses when we met. I'm a big fan of the dial, particularly. I think that I always tell people, you know, I'm obviously a huge vintage guy. I'm an enormous vintage guy. So save up, no question. Save up for the vintage Rolex that you want. But obviously, you're going to want to wear something until then, and then obviously rotate it into your collection. You know, once you have a full collection, but at under $400, you know, the Ulysses is the kind of watch that someone can not only really wear and enjoy, but be introduced to and enjoy the beauty of a mechanical movement. I dig that. Again, and no one's going to believe I'm not being paid, but it's the truth.
No, look, I appreciate it, because the price point was a real we had a fight in our hands, myself and Max, over the price point, and a lot of times. Because look, at the end of the day, we were told by a Swiss manufacturer, like he basically hand makes his own watches, and he's only launched a couple of years. I won't give you a name, but we were told that we should have that price at €900 for the top 19 when we launched. We were like, yeah, we'd love it. That's amazing. And we're like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. But then we kind of looked at it and we went, we'll never sell them, because no one's going to take a punt on a brand new company that they barely know about and spend $500 or $900 or €900 on a watch. And look, we were delighted that that's what he thought we should be pricing our watches at. But at the end of the day, we would have ruled out all of our markets straight away. And look, we want to deliver a product people will like, but we're not going to deliver a product that people are going to like if they can't afford it. And, we said, look, let's go for a slightly riskier model of higher volume and lower margin, and just, satisfy the customers we know that are out there. And as you said, it's about entering into the market. It's about getting new people on board, new people interested in mechanical watches, get them to move away from quartz watches. And don't get me wrong, there's some great quartz watches out there, and we'll have a quartz one with this model as well, but there's something personal about having your first mechanical watch. And once you get in there, you're going to always want a mechanical watch. And that's what we want.
I totally agree. So I have no problem with quartz watches. I will wear a quartz watch on occasion.
Yeah.
Some great stuff out there.
Yeah, there's some great stuff.
But, once you're kind of, once you wake up and realize the beauty of even the simplest mechanical movements, your eyes are open, and that to me is when your watch journey really starts, so that's kind of my spiel.
Absolutely. And look, we just want people to take a chance on us, and we're not going to satisfy every single person out there, but I guarantee you we're going to satisfy a lot more than we will disappoint.
All right, I've got one more question for you. If everyone listening to this right now followed you on one social medium, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you may be on, which one would it be and why? I'm about to be critical, so don't softball me.
Yeah, well, there's pros and cons, but I guess, if personally, I'd like them to follow me on Facebook because I can get more information down their throats. But from their perspective, if they want to get higher value, nicer pictures, I think Instagram is a less invasive way for them to get talk information. So they'll see.
Instagram's easier to consume.
It's easier
as a consumer, Instagram is
Absolutely.
easier. You don't have to read as much. It's a lot more, obviously,
Look,
its nature is a lot more graphic.
Yeah.
But Facebook is terrific too. I mean, I saw some of those videos on YouTube. I'm sorry, those videos on Instagram. Are you uploading those to Facebook as well?
Our videos are on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Yeah, like we don't have a big YouTube subscribing, and we haven't really focused on it. We're focusing on Facebook and Instagram, but all the videos are on both channels. Yeah.
So how can the viewers find you on Instagram? What's the handle?
Yeah, at the Talk Watch. So Talk TOC. So at the Talk Watch.
At the Talk Watch. At THETOCWATCH, right?
That's it. Yeah.
All right, buddy, it was awesome having you. Thank you so much for coming on. I genuinely enjoyed the conversation. I couldn't have been happier to officially launch Blueprinting with you as our guest.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
And you geeks, you can follow along on Instagram with us at Theo and Harris if you want to stay in the loop on all of the Rolexes, Tudors, and Omegas, and so much more. Hitting the Theo and Harris Watch Shop and on YouTube for the best watch videos there. 5 days a week. Boom, watch fam.